Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
Nasty Production.
7 Mile Radio.
What's up, good people? You are now live with Mac and Macho on Excuse My Truth podcast, 7 Mile Radio, 7 Mile Update. My guy Mark Deek, what's up, my boy?
What's going on, dog?
Turn the volumes down.
I appreciate you. That's your volume, D-Mac. Appreciate y'all tuning in. We're going to talk. We got a quick clip we're going to play for y'all real quick, and then after the clip, we're going to get into the conversation.
Her best, but it's a lot of stuff about manhood that she can't teach me. So my question to you is, how do I become, or how do I learn how to be a man if I have no man influence?
In his soul the shape of his father. Here's the deal, single mothers. Every boy is you got to hair up and get a good man in front of him. You don't have to be the one you dating. I ain't saying you got to go out and find a man that becomes his daddy and all this here. You just got to help get a young...
South Central.
Who lives here in L.A.? Who gonna mentor him?
You got my number, too.
Three. Four. Okay. That's what we gonna do for you. We gonna get you some men in your life. See, men, we know what it is to be a man. We know the way. And it ain't easy. Whoa, no, it's not easy. But we know what it is. But these men, see, I didn't ask them which one of y'all make enough money to mentor. I didn't say which one of y'all famous enough to mentor. The greatest men I ever know ain't... My father was not a rich man. He was just the greatest. So this dude will mentor you, you get all their numbers. My son, you in South Central, I got dudes, man, that we know how to grab each other because we know the way. All us been 19. You the young dude in the group. We're going to put our arms around. Everything happened for a reason. This is an opportunity. You know, man, look, you ain't got to worry. There's a whole lot of dudes ain't had their daddy, but it's a whole lot of dudes up here that know how that feel. Men don't have these opportunities to talk. Because where we from, man, we black men. We men of color. White men, it's hard. You get around other dudes, it's hard, man. We just men. We ain't supposed to cry. We ain't supposed to be hurt. We ain't supposed to... What? We're going to take care of you, man. We're going to take a quick break, but we got more important conversations.
Excuse My Truth podcast with Mac and Macho. We talking about it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So the clip we just showed essentially was an episode of Steve Harvey where he had a young black man on there who was asking a question about, you know, he was being raised by his mom, and he asked Steve Harvey, well, how do I, you know, learn how to be a man? Like, you know, my mom can't teach me how to be a man. How do I learn how to be a man? And Steve Harvey had a bunch of prominent melanated brothers volunteering to mentor him who were in his area. Excuse me. But the question is, or the comment, or what we're talking about is, a woman can't raise a man. D-Mac, what are your thoughts?
What does that mean? A woman can't raise a woman. So
I guess essentially what that means is as a parent of the opposite sex cannot adequately equip a child to survive in society. I guess that's what that means.
Now, I asked my son, we were on our way home, the topic was, I said, I want to hear your input, right? He's 13. So I said, do you think a woman, he was like...
Well, can a man raise a girl?
Girl to be a woman, and a woman raise a boy to be a man. I'm sorry. And he was like, yeah. And he said it so instantly and confidently, right?
Confidently.
And I was like, why do you say that? He was like, well, you're raising me.
I didn't get my sound effects ready.
Right. He was like, you're raising me. And I'm like, I am, but I also have strategically placed men around you.
That part.
Because I realize I don't care what clothes I have on, right? I'm not a man as it pertains to his manhood and his changes, you know, and transitions.
Right, that part.
Because when I see hair on his legs, and this was the funniest shit, I was like, oh, you got hair on your legs? I was like, put your arm up. You got hair under yours? And so I was like, You got hair down there? You're like, Mom. He don't want to talk about that shit with me.
Right. I was the
He-
same way
you
with
know
my
what I'm
mom,
saying?
kind of, sort of, yeah.
He's so embarrassed, not because he doesn't feel like he can.
Since
I
you're a
just
girl,
am
like,
not a man.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, is that a such thing?
But to the topic.
Herein lies the debate. Like,
Right.
I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
nothing about
Right,
that
right,
shit. You know what I'm saying?
And to the topic, a woman can't raise a man or a woman. So
I can
my
raise a
mom-
human.
Yeah, absolutely. So a man and give him sustainable things in life as a man, right?
Character things.
Absolutely, right? Morals,
things,
values, and
yeah.
things of that nature. Because my mom raised 3 boys. Well, I take that back. My mom birthed 3 boys,
Okay.
but raised 7, 8 of us. Mom raised 8 boys, right? And all of us to this day, I still use a lot of what my mom instilled in me, taught me from, as a parent, right? And even as a man, I apply those things to my life, and I've been able to be productive as a man. However, back to your point, also strategically had to have men in my life to give me those tangible things that I needed to be an alpha male, right? To be testosterone, right? She can't give a man, that masculine, trait that he's going to need, right? My mom didn't give me that, but she definitely gave me the vulnerability side of life, right? She helped me be vulnerable to understand women and to be empathetic, right? So she absolutely gave me things that balance my life as a man, and me being a single father, right? I got a son and 2 daughters, right? So
How was that? bro?
it's, oh my God, it was.
Because I was just telling Mark before you got here, I'm like, it has to be more of a challenge for a man, single father, to raise a daughter than it is for a woman to raise a boy.
I done lost Harry and
Because
weight.
it's so much going on with the emotions in the body that, like, Jesus.
It's absolutely, it was, and even the balance of having the son and then 2 daughters, right? Son being the oldest, being first, so I get to experience everything with him. But the daughters definitely, and they experienced their first with me, right?
Okay.
Being a at that moment being a single dad and being separated from their mom. Their mom was living in another state or whatever, but they experienced their first with me, cycles and bra shopping, and those things were, I think, more uncomfortable probably for me, just having to deal with those things or whatever, and try to be very selfless, right, and understanding, right, and of course the same thing. I had to have a village of women,
Females,
my mom, my sister-in-laws, and audio parents, so they live with me. You know what I mean, and
So a lot of the milestones, the random milestones, are gonna happen
Yeah.
just randomly.
Yeah.
And
Whereas
they-
if now they're 19 and 16, and
How
I
did
ship
you-
them to go live with their mom. Y'all got to go with mom now, because what y'all need in life now, I can't give y'all.
Now that's some real shit.
You know what I mean? Like y'all need some things in life right now
As young women.
as young women that
Yeah.
I can't give you. There's some nurturing. There's some things that you have to get from the estrogen side of the parenting now that I can't give you. So
And I think that is most unselfish because, we as custodial parents, right? We're doing a lot of the work, the 24/7,
Facts.
7 days a week type
Facts.
shit, right?
Facts.
And so now it's like, okay, now I realize, okay, you need a man around you. And you realize you need a woman around. But there are a lot of parents that want to be selfish.
yeah.
That don't extend that
I
olive
was just about to
branch.
say. I was just about to say.
You know what I'm
because,
saying? To
because
make
they're-
sure there's a balance in that child's life.
yeah, facts.
because the parents that realize that are looking.
Thoroughly.
That sat in this audience in Steve Harvey's clip
Mm-hmm.
and said, how am I
Ask the
supposed to
question.
become a man when I didn't have a man
I
in
don't
my
have a
life?
blueprint.
Not to suggest that his mom didn't do everything she could do and did it to the ability of a woman.
Right, absolutely.
And not taking anything away from
Yeah,
her.
yeah, yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying? But
There was
he
still a void. There's
recognized
still a
in
void in
himself,
him, yeah.
we can't make that decision for the children. We have to understand that they need balance.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a grandson, and he was always around women, right? Always around women. And he was very effeminate in nature, not because he was gay, but because that was all he saw. He said, not to suggest that he was gay, but I'm going to tell you the danger. The danger is he was being called gay. And
now
words
in his
have power.
And now in his mind, it could be convincing him that
Yeah,
that's what he is
yeah.
because he don't know no better.
Words have power. You have the power of life and death in your tongue.
Facts.
And if you're speaking that over him consistently, and because he's effeminate, because all he has around him are women, and he has no example of the male demeanor, right? And so, as a consequence, you don't fit in here, you don't fit in there, but there is a section that you fit in, and you fit in this LGBT community because that's what everybody said you were going to be.
And then that's where you're accepted.
You know what I'm saying? And exactly, that's what I'm saying.
You'll be
That's where you
accepted
fit.
there.
Because not because you're gay or you were born gay, but because
So do you believe that recipe or that equation is how some people end up in that lifestyle or in that arena?
I had boyfriends. I didn't start dealing with women until I was 25. However, my brother and I were 13 months apart, so I was a tomboy. I played football on the streets. I climbed the trees. I did everything he did because we were the closest in age. You know what I'm saying? And I love my brother. I wanted to be my brother. Not that I wanted to be gay, but it was like, oh, you gonna be gay.
You just pattern
You gonna
yourself
be
after
gay.
him.
She gonna be gay.
Now,
She gonna
was
be
it a
gay.
2-parent household?
Well, it was, but it wasn't my biological father. It was
Okay.
my mother had remarried.
And
You
the
know
reason
what I'm saying?
I posed that question is because when you look at, especially, who've had the best of both worlds, right? You've had that balance, right? Same with me. My biological father was murdered when I was 2, so my mom ended up getting married when I was like in 9. You know what I mean? But my stepfather at the time was on crack cocaine, so he wasn't no active, positive figure in my life that taught me anything of substance at that time. It wasn't until I was 19 and moving out that he was able to get his shit together, got cleaned, and being raised by a woman, right? And watching her hustle. So my mom taught me how to hustle, right? Because I saw her hustling. I saw her, really, you know what I mean, have work, you know what I mean? Because we saw mom get it out the
You ain't know
mud.
you was missing
Right.
that.
You feel me? So just even in that context, like those things she instilled in me, right? And they're applicable now.
I think the opposite gender parent can instill in the child. I can instill a respect for humans. I can instill in you a moral character traits that I feel like would make you a good person, a good human. But when it comes to certain things that, I cannot really, I can read up on some shit, you know what I'm saying, and answer some questions. But really, when people give them the insight that they're looking for,
Right.
and even children, I mean, we underestimate our children. You know what I'm saying? They have an intellect that's beyond ours at their age years ago, and so
Right.
they disregard. You understand what I'm saying? We have to listen. Great mother. I really believe that I'm a great mom.
That's deep.
You understand what I'm saying?
You want to give him a little story about, like, birth?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've had him since birth. I was literally in the delivery room holding up the left
Nice.
leg of the mother and watched him slither his big old. Listen, I ain't never. I had the whole nursing staff cracking up because I'm like, that is not a newborn baby. That is not a newborn. I'm in there trip. She gave birth. She called me Friday night. I had to go pick her up because her water broke. She gave birth Saturday morning. He came home with us Monday.
And is the
4
biological
days.
father at all involved?
Not now.
Okay.
I did when Donovan was 7. I did reach out to him because he was asking, and the therapists, they tell you when the kids start answering questions or asking questions, start answering those questions, at least on their level of understanding, right? And so I'm like, he was like, well, who is my daddy? I'm like, no, see,
Now
no.
he got some more explaining to do.
Yeah, no,
Right, you
we didn't
definitely got some explaining to
we
do.
didn't make you.
Right.
So now I gotta, so yeah, that's what opened the door to me reaching out and finding this young man, and I brought him around, and he turned out not to be the most positive influence. And this is what I say: what about those men that are not good examples to their sons? Or what about those mothers that are not good examples to their daughters? Would they be better off with the opposite sex? You got mothers out here bringing Tom, Dick, Harry, Sally, Jane, and Regina to the house around the kids. You know what I'm saying? Or you got the father doing, you know, all manner of whatever around the kids. They still, it's not the gender. It's the character.
Or the slow ups. I know y'all said keep lagging every other
Is it
minute.
lagging?
We
Still?
absolutely apologize. We want y'all to
we
call
do
in though.
apologize. Yeah, and then you know, once we re-upload the show, we'll get everything. You know, if you miss anything, you
Oh, they
catch it
can't
on the
talk
re-upload.
live, though.
Brother and my dad was the best of friends, and the fraternal father. Y'all read that long ass book. It's y'all show.
Being a man than all of the men I placed in his life. That's powerful. That's powerful. I asked his father to take custody when he was about 10 years old. He said he didn't want him then because I wouldn't give him.
You know, feel that this is the point where he needs to be with me. Man, how do you deny your son?
Yeah, that's what I don't get. A
man?
lot of these dudes
How do
who
you deny? I want my son now.
have
man,
the
you know what I
energy
mean?
to make a baby, but don't have the same energy to
No, man,
be
I want-
active.
I want-
So
So what do you
previous
feel
8
like
years?
now? He is the child that she made. You know what I mean? You didn't have no, but I mean that's still at 10 years old. You still got like, I mean that's the perfect time.
That's
man.
that's
That's
disturbing,
prime
man.
time,
Them
dog.
type
Like,
of
what are you
dudes.
talking about?
Yeah. Are we set up?
You know what I'm saying? 313-723-0481 is the call in line.
313-02304.
Yeah, you said it all wrong.
Right.
313-723-0481. He
Right.
said 0.
I'm going to memorize it. You know, in this day and age, we don't have to write down this number.
Yep, I was there. I absolutely was
Macho.
there.
How was it? Okay, so once your girls start going through puberty and the change in life and the menstrual cycle, like how the fuck, like I'm still a little girl.
I had to
As a
reach out.
man.
I had to reach out to the wisdom of those around me. My mom was very much so impactful and trusting her, you know, direction and the thing. I was the parent that was at every event. My son played football, but my daughters were, you know, cheering, so that got my energy. I was the cheer dad before I was a football coach. Hey,
What's
Ebony.
going on, Ebony?
So give us the rest of that long story.
Ebony, tell us where you calling from, Ebony.
So, I am calling from Detroit.
All right.
Basically what it was is that, when he was 2, he did try to sue, because from 2 to 10, to me, they need that nurturing. But he started, you know, my son was getting ready to start puberty. He started to smell himself. So I said, you know what? I'm not a man. I can't teach him how to be a man. So this is the time where he needs to be with his father full time and learn how to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, I want you. No. Well, why not? Because when I wanted him at 2 years old, you went, right, because it's like, well, he needed to be learning how to be a man at 2 years old. No, you can't learn how to be a man at 2 years old. I'm going to disagree with you on that, because you don't learn how to be a man at 2 years old. Don't, you know, at this point now, it's time for him to do that. So, you know, I'm not that type of baby mother where I'm just say, well, if you're not going to take him, then you don't see him anymore. No, he still came around. But my father stepped up. My brothers stepped up. All the men in my life stepped up. And anytime that he got out of hand, instead of me being the one that had to chastise
As a boy. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, because at the same time, my father raised me. So
How was that? Talk
I
about
was
that.
raised by my father. So my mom passed away when I was 10 years old.
Sorry.
And my father thought that, you know, oh my God, their mother's gone. She's going to need a woman to raise. So when are you going to go and give the kids over to their grandmother? My father's like, what are you talking about?
Right. These
Well,
my kids.
a woman needs to raise those kids. Yeah, and my father said, and that's exactly what he said. He said, these are my kids.
Right.
I'm not giving them to nobody else to raise. These are my kids to raise.
Right.
At the same time, what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
So he thought that by getting married again was going to teach you how to be a woman. He realized that was a fail. So then everything that I need to know today.
Okay.
Because everything that he taught me, everything that man taught me to become the woman I am today, I was able to pass that on to my son to become.
That's powerful.
You made a
because
statement.
that's character traits. Those aren't gender traits.
But you made it so you had those men in his life, the things that were the most impactful for his manhood seemingly were the things that you taught him. Can you kind of like?
What you felt like impacted him the most? You know what I mean?
There were things that I watched my grandmother.
You got your
raise
computer playing in the
all
background by any chance? I hear something echoing. I thought I hear an echo.
No, it's actually raised 6 boys. But what she did is she coddled them. I refused to bring down, and I worked in law enforcement, and I said, okay, I'm gonna show you. You're gonna pay you no drink. Okay, well, you know what? I didn't tell you because we're gonna go outside. We're gonna look.
Are you on speakerphone by any chance?
And if you could tell me,
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Yeah, your
So-
phone sounded like you were scrambling a little bit.
it was. Oh no, I had to bring my son was more so got to be him. Show him taking my word being God. He took it from all the other men in his life, but I also had to show him that what you're not gonna do. You might be better than me, but what you're not gonna do somebody else around you. So, yeah.
Hey, baby, your
You
phone.
breaking
you
up,
breaking up real bad, Erica.
Ebony.
Ebony, your phone is breaking up real bad. You sound real scrambled.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, a little. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Repeat
so
that
yeah,
last part
if-
real quick, because it sounded like it was a good.
any type of instruction or direction from women, he only would take it from a man. And I said that I had to teach him that we're going to have to learn respect, whether it comes from a man or a woman. And what I'm going to teach you is how to respect everybody. Right. And if this means that you respect everybody because you don't know who you coming across.
Right. And like that, and
how my father taught us.
Yeah, so that absolutely nothing to do with gender. This is something that every human should have: respect, morals,
Can raise a child of the opposite sex?
I would say it like this: a human can raise a human.
I'm gonna say yes.
Yes.
I'm gonna
A
absolutely
human
say yes.
can raise a human. We reinforce that with all these external factors that can lend or
Because
or
as
be
a mother,
identified.
It's in yes.
Absolutely. But I also recognize the importance of having the
That
other
village.
gender around.
1000%.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
You gotta have that. You gotta have
You
that.
know, his mentor right now he's 26 years old. He has masters in business, and they have Zoom meetings. They talk about business. They talk about stocks. It's like they talk about want him to think that everything he says to you, you're coming to me.
Right,
Some of
right.
those boy things, y'all go on
Keep to
here and
yourself.
have things, you know. And when I look at the hair on your legs and under your arms, I'm just gonna assume it's everywhere else. I'm not gonna ask anymore. You know, he's so.
At least he was embarrassed because my son had no problem telling me. He's like, "Mom, what is this?" He'll be 21 in December.
Oh, 21? Okay, that's not far removed. All right, well.
They'd been to Google this shit before they came to
what?
you and asked you.
Well, Ebony, we appreciate you calling
Thank
in,
you
my
for
baby.
calling, Eb.
Mark D on the ones and twos. 7 Mile Radio, 7 Mile Update. A woman can't raise a man. A man can't raise
04
81.
Lord have
We gonna
mercy.
get it.
723-0481.
There we
Area
go.
code 313.
Teamwork.
Make
Teamwork,
the
there we
dream
go.
work.
Right there
So
at the
do we
bottom.
have any men listening that, you know, you found yourself in conflict because you're a man, she's a girl, and you don't know what the fuck to do?
Huh.
Like, call in and talk to us. How was that? Do you have any kids?
I got a son.
Oh, you got a son. So
Yeah.
that I found out what his gender was when he came out. When I say y'all have thought I was at an apostolic church on the pulpit with the musicians because I cut hair. I don't know how to do no ponytails, none of that. Baby hairs, all that. I don't know.
And see, and even with that, like me raising daughters, like I was a goat with taking braids down. I learned how to do braids. I was never a fan. I still ain't a fan of the quick weaves and the sew-ins. You know what I mean? I mean braids and all that stuff. Yeah, but I definitely, and that was also a struggle where again as a father, too long. I see last day, you know, what you got them for, like, you know what I mean? So I had to be very open minded to even allowing them to grow and be free and have their
And
identity.
I know that had to be hard as a man
That was
because you're a
challenging as
man.
fuck.
you know what your daughters are getting ready to encounter or experience, or probably potentially get their heart broke. Like, I'm so glad I don't have a girl. I know boys can get their heart broke too, but I'm like, Lord Jesus, because
I had to deal with it. But even and again, even as a parent, like when you find out your son is no longer virgin, it's it's a different conversation, right? It's a different whoa, it's a different wow, it's a different yee, okay.
Right, and then
but then when you find out your daughter's no longer, it's like, what the fuck, like significantly.
Yeah.
But as a man, like raising 2 daughters, again, I had to give them the game from a man's perspective, right? I had to tell them, what to avoid and what to look for and to do, and how to, how a man look at women and what we want to, be pleased with the eye by, right? Like all of that. But at the same token, now where comes now where are they going to get the femininity side of it from? Because I can't give them that. Right. You know what I mean? I can't give them that.
Right.
So
I don't want them to be so tough.
Yeah. I'm raising daughters.
To where a nigga like, nah.
Right.
You just too much like.
Yeah.
My pastor used to always say balance is the key to life.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And you got to have balance. And
that's why we're chromosomally made up.
Yeah.
The way we are.
Mm-hmm.
We're not just testosterone or just estrogen.
That's why I said it's a yin and yang. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of this and a little bit of that, just like you got a lot of what I got a little bit of. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly what how yin and yang is designed. Yeah. And that's what it is. That's the unity.
Put your camera on there.
Oh, you got it on the back. Oh, you already know. It's on the back of your damn head.
Yep. On the back of my neck.
Yeah.
More specifically. Yeah, and that shit felt like I was in Al Qaeda getting my neck. So Macho.
Yes, D.
Your daughter.
Because
I remember I was in 6th grade. Nobody talked, like our family, back in my little years, they didn't prepare you for changes in life, right? So I didn't know what the fuck a period was, right? So I'm in 6th grade in gym class. I came out the bathroom screaming all this. Then by the time I got home, everybody was like, "Welcome to fucking womanhood." What? Why is this a surprise? You know what I'm saying? So how did you navigate? How did you navigate that with your daughters as a man?
Well, so the good thing is I have a background in the medical field, and I worked in an OBGYN clinic for 3 years. So
this nigga had the best job.
It absolutely played off. And then I worked also.
OBGYN.
Get these lab results back. And I'm gonna put it back on the table depending on your results.
But the preparation was kind of there though. But again, for me, I absolutely reached out to resources, man, and leaned on them heavy. But even to the point where tampons and maxi pads are using like natural, to offset it. And when I learned like certain things would impact their menstrual cycles as to how they would bleed less and have less. Yes, hell yeah.
You didn't just try to wing it like, okay, I know what women go through. No, like let me bring some information.
And I'm like a sponge. Like I would reach out. Like, and again, you try to fruit batter fruit, right? You try to fruit batter fruit. So those that I knew and my daughters were bringing to me just to see how you deal with it with your daughters, right? And now I can be again a different view, right? I want my daughters to be comfortable to come and talk to me about everything. Right. So let's tell them we're gonna cry about some things.
You to reveal, let you see me cry.
Yeah, which I got from my mom.
As a man, her son said he vowed.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, because I can identify with it. And very logical, right? The being, you know what I mean? Like, and there was a healthy balance because again, even the men she put in my.
Give me a split sheet.
Onion and cheese, right? Mom put me in the game with kitchen, right? Mom taught me how to be a listener. You know what I mean? Mom taught me how to be involved, right? My mom was at the schools. You know what I mean? My mom was definitely, and again, going back to just even hustling, I saw my mom like grinding. My mom used to throw gambling parties. Like we didn't have no wants. Lights didn't go out. You know, we didn't really sleep for dinner. You know what I mean? A lot of, bad things. You know what I mean? They did. They taught me a lot of bad things or whatever. And when you think about it, like we had to go pretty much outside of the family and get we were involved in a program, right? And the guy by the name of Tony Howard was somebody who impacted my life as a mentor, right? A positive role model. The neighborhood, again, I grew up, you know, I'm born in the Jeffrey Projects, right? Mom got us out the projects because she said no. But then she took us to, you know what I mean? And it was like, that's where it all happened for me at. But it was such a interesting melting pot of, I had to go on the other side of Gratiot and rock out with the Jew joint dudes to get my hands dirty and learn that side. Respectful, my mom, you know, was in terms of her position. Yeah, respected. I mean, how respected she was in terms of.
Hey, what's up? What's your comment? What you got to say about the topic?
First of all, y'all lagging real bad right now.
Yeah, we know.
We appreciate you calling in, Wynette.
Thank you. You're welcome.
So are you raising
both
a little boy?
I'm raising boys and both. We are our kids' first image of a woman and a man.
Right.
So I don't have a lot of family with a lot of men, so they don't have a male role model for real. You know what I'm saying? So even with my boys, they don't have a male role. But like, the father is very, very important to the girl and the boy. Our kid's dad is not the best role model, but that can be the way that they know what not to be.
Exactly. And that's what I agree with you 100%, because I went through that with my son. I actually I found his dad. Son saw a real life example of what a man should not be. And it was important for him to be able to see that on his own, and not for me to say it.
I never talk bad about them. Whatever they feel and however they feel, that's what they came up with themselves.
Yep. But I agree with you. I think that to be a balance of each gender around this child to have a level of impact, because you have to understand.
Yes,
Go ahead. Our whole role is to raise good citizens, correct?
Well, you raising boys. So how old are your boys? And my question is, once you things that you've noticed that may have been a negative impact, or some things that it wouldn't be that.
One thing, like I said, he's not the best role. I can't even hit that. I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? Like, he might not have been help him with that. I can try, but I can't. And I know that there's...
I won't pronounce your name right now. I'm just going to say Miss T. I know it starts with a T. Just because
it's Wynette. Just call it Net.
I know it was a T in there somewhere.
Yeah, just Net.
I know it was a biological parent is involved in their life, because you say he's not a good influence. So if he's not a good influence in terms of existence, right? I'm not saying don't let them know who their father. They're not learning things they shouldn't be learning. But at the same time, even if the people that we come in contact with throughout our lives, whether it be family, friends, business associates, somebody we come in contact with, what we want them to learn is, I want you to learn how to be a good man, not just a man.
Right. Oh, yes, that's to me, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate that. And I'm not one.
Right.
Because I have plenty of kids that I love like they are mine. You know what I'm saying? And I want only he's not the best role model. He's not the best role model, but that can be also teaching them integrity. I'm still teaching them respect. I'm still teaching them how to be loyal. I'm still teaching them that. You know?
This is...
Yes, definitely.
And so it's important for them to see those bad examples, right? Because sometimes the bad example is the only example you have, right? And you have to determine, do I want to follow the bad example? Yeah.
Yes, my older children, they have seen a lot of bad things, and let me tell you, like, it's been positive in their lives. They are going to be adults, so I talk to them like they're human. We talk about real shit.
And think about how much you can recollect as a child that was told that you did
immediately.
And I have key memories about a lot of things from when I was about 5 years old, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You never know what is going to. You never know what those things
and
is.
We
so
dismiss
you want to
it.
make as much of those impacts as moments as possible on.
There has to be a level of discretionary disclosure.
And you want them to understand. You want them to understand and how to handle those negative things. Also,
once they get out there, the negativity is gonna blindside the fuck out of them,
and
they're gonna be knocked off their feet.
I'm a prime example. My dad and my stepmom, they made me think life was people were pieces.
It's not real life.
It
I
was
be
a
telling my
dude-
son all the time.
it was
Quit
a dude-
calling everybody friends.
A dude that called in, right? It was a panel on the, I think it was the Make 'em show, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he called in and said, "Yeah, Mom, like you did a good job of raising me, but at the same time, you sheltered me from some.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of tools that I wasn't equipped with, you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of experiences that I
That
should
is
have
hard,
had.
bro.
But now it's like as a man, I don't know. I didn't know how to handle those things. I learned late.
That I may have been sheltering y'all from and keeping y'all from that y'all.
Yeah, how did your girls feel about that? With you having raised them, and now it's time for y'all to go be with your mom. How
And we have honest dialogue and conversation.
Right.
And as much as I instilled, they also identified that we want some shit from mom. You know what I mean? Like it was definitely, you know what I mean. So even when I'm screaming "fuck them kids" Friday, I can say that because again but again, like my daughters, it was just at a point where they needed back in because again, I can't give them what they need now at 19 and.
I can tell you which way you should and shouldn't go, but as far as the femininity of your person,
Yeah, you'll never get
Yeah,
that from
I
me.
can't give
And
you
even with their upbringing, like their mom and all that, she was in the street. She was a hustler, so she just knew how to get money and, you know what I'm saying, family, you know what I mean, like all of that, you know what I mean. So my kids were able to get that in a 2-parent household to the point where when we separated, it was a continual.
so by the time they went to her,
Now that they were heard, they've gotten enough.
was she in the back on what they learned from you?
Yeah.
She was setting the example as well.
Yeah, it was always a healthy balance.
Blessed night.
You
You as
too.
well. Excuse my true podcast, Mac and Macho. My
Final
guy Mark
thought.
with a lead, absolutely 100% positively disagree because I am a product of a strong black woman who raised. It's not a cliche. It is a very much a reality for our community for sure, where it takes a village to raise a child, right? So, bro. To bring balance, because again, experience is the teacher of fools, right? Experiences is
Right.
I'm gonna learn a lot of what not to do. You have to be able to have those healthy, positive relationships, guys, for just not giving up. You know what I mean, and getting it done.
My final thought, I can really just to raise a healthy, productive is in you. Or some things that are not the experience of the opposite gender. Identity issues arise.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe any human can raise a human, but I believe the individual we can. And not just the one side, let them be who they are in the totality of who they are. And the only way that, and that's my final thought.
Eastern Standard Time, 7 Mile Radio on YouTube, 7 Mile Update.